Okay, so I finished doing my water, the outline of my palm tree and the little island lump. So now I'm gonna move on to the palm fronds. And with this, I'm gonna be using, once again, the embroidery floss, but I'm gonna be using it in a way where I separate the fibers. So I'm going to do the initial palm frond tops, almost like the branches in a way, with the full thing of embroidery floss. And then afterwards, for the detail, for the little leaves, I'm gonna be separating it. So I want a little bit of line variation, thickness of line variation. So I'm gonna be separating it to probably just 3 strands. So I'm gonna get started by, once again, cutting a length of thread right about an arm's length. I'm gonna be taking my needle. One thing I forgot to mention when doing embroidery is you wanna sew with your dominant hand and hold the hoop with your non-dominant hand. It'll make your life much easier. Okay, so I'm knotting the end once again. I'm gonna do this a few times, just like so. Great. All right, so get some stuff out of the way, pulling up my sleeves. Okay, so in this case, because I have this frond, this frond, this frond, and then this piece to do, I'm gonna start over here. So when I come in, I have like less string just randomly hanging out like that. And that way I'm closer to these. So let's begin. Once again, pull your needle through, check your back. Go about 1/4 inch ahead of it, flip it over, pull, make sure you don't pull the tail out, but if you do, you just pull that part and make sure the knot kisses the back of the fabric. Okay, just like that. Going, once again, back into the end of that first stitch, pulling all the way through, 1/4 inch or less, depending on what you like. All right. And at some point you might need to re-tighten your fabric. Sometimes it gets a little loose once you're working with it. So what you're gonna do in that case, you just go around and give it a nice little tug. Make sure it's nice and snug and taut. Once again, testing like it's the top of a drum. So I'm gonna go back into here. Just like so. 1/4 inch ahead, just like that. Coming right back into that last stitch. Oops, needle decided to do something else there. Okay, and now I'm gonna flip this over because I just wanna take a peek at my back, make sure everything's nice and clean and not full of knots. If it is, if you realize you had a knot a few stitches back, just keep on going. A little glue will fix that. You just kind of put it right on top so it doesn't get loose. White glue would do just fine, but also liquid stitch, craft glue, either of those work. And even if you have hot glue, you can do that as well. Just a tiny amount though. Okay, so I'm getting towards that center point. And now since I've reached these other fibers over here from this other color, I'm actually just gonna come up inside of one of those stitches because I want the 2 colors to kiss. I don't want there to be any separation between them. I'm gonna come right back in there. So it's coming literally right out of the top of the palm now. And now I'm gonna do this pointed part. And this, I'm gonna use a slightly longer stitch since it's straight. And that'll give it also slight variation. Okay. All right, so this is my last stitch. So now I wanna come back and start right over here. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take my needle, once again, go under the previous stitches, almost like I'm tying a knot, pull it through just for a little security, and then I'm gonna flip it over and see where I wanna start. Once again, starting inside of that brown thread, and I'm just gonna pull it through. And just be careful because you don't want to mess up that thread, so be gentle. And now I'm just gonna come back around just like that, just like we've been doing with that 1/4 inch stitch.